Whether you just purchased your first camera or you are a seasoned director in Hollywood, there will come a time when you come across creative block, a rut, a feeling where you really can't make anything good. So what do you look for? How do you get creative inspiration? What is even creative inspiration? And how do you creatively inspire yourself? That, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sunny Show.
Welcome
We're
to
going
the
to talk
Sunny
about it.
16 podcast.
I was in the middle of trying to swallow my coffee. It almost came back out.
What didn't you like
How
about
do you
that?
creatively inspire yourself?
I don't know. I just being an idiot.
It's fine.
Just kidding.
Dude, I love
Hey.
your like podcast voice, Niles, like
Yeah.
your radio, YouTube voice.
Oh,
What
you're
is
going to
up
call me out?
What
You're
is
gonna call
up,
me out
everybody?
IRL right
Today
now?
we are gonna break it down. What is going on, my dudes? What is shaking my squad? Today we are gonna break down some single origin juice.
Single O,
I'm just
EPO.
Mike.
I've just
Keep
hung out
going,
with you
dude.
too much.
I know.
What
Yeah,
is
I love it.
shaking my squad?
yeah,
I
that
say
one's
that?
tough. Yes.
Oh,
Did I
I
say
blacked out
that?
halfway through and I
As
just kept
Niles
going with
is
it.
holding his Ethiopian up.
So for context, Mike Dewey is on the pod,
Oh.
is on the show. Joshua Martin is traveling to Israel like a boss, and Mike and I shot for years all the moment lessons. So we have a lot of
Way too
of
many.
trauma.
Bro,
We have a lot of
this-
trauma to sift through.
Way too many shared bedrooms and hotels.
Yeah.
This is
I just realized I've been holding my coffee like this. Whole
Yeah,
like,
you
it's
really are.
yeah.
And also, they know Mike.
Yeah, they know Mike.
Yeah.
All the times
Dude,
that
no
I've
one-
recorded
no one
in that
knows Mike.
office, all
Yeah.
the
No one
times
knows
I've
Mike,
recorded
dude.
in his office
no
right now.
no one knows Mike.
Just lurking in the back.
Yes.
Why? It sounds weird when we say Mike. It should be
Mike?
Dewey. I don't know.
Dewey.
Do hear nothing.
Dewey,
I've
do you
told
have
people-
a...
I've moved so many times, and every time I say, "Hey, what's up? My name is Mike," and then as soon as people find out my last name is Dewey, they're like, "Dewey, it's done."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, they're
over.
like, well, "What's up, Dewey?"
Yeah,
That's great. That's
Dark
great.
Lord
Oh,
Dewey,
man.
do you have a drink?
I do. I've got it's an espresso, but it's not exciting. So it could be a single origin 13.3
What?
to 1.6 ratio Mogadishu blend.
Well,
Okay.
okay, well, that is not a ratio that anyone uses. For the record.
I don't feel cool because I know that Niles probably has something special, and I just don't feel special. This is
Well,
an
of course,
espresso,
of
which
course,
is a shame.
Of course. But I
Which is
make
a shame.
Nespresso iced lattes, but I throw a little bit of honey in there, maybe a little bit of maple syrup. I've tried that from Taylor before.
Yeah.
Because
Delish.
we can't afford an espresso machine yet. That is on the list of like, I'll have made it when it's like, I got $1,000 espresso
nice-
machine
yeah.
that I can pull my own shots.
I
Once I'm
do
Caleb,
have a nice
I'll-
coffee
yeah.
with you, Dewey.
I was going to say one thing really quick. I feel like before I worked at Moment, I only drank like seriously. I was like not super into coffee. I drank Starbucks. I was into like just whatever. And
Oh, too bad.
when Niles and I were on the shoot with Joe and we shot his like storytelling course, I remember Joe was like, "I'll wake up early and grind you guys some coffee," and I was like, "I don't think so."
Yeah.
And Niles was like, "Dude, you should do it," and I was like, "I don't really
Yeah.
care. Like, I don't think I'm gonna like it." And then I remember sitting in the car at like 4
And
a.m.
Dewey
before we went to the
transcended.
Tetons, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is
Yeah.
insanely good."
Delish.
I was like,
dude.
"Wow!" And then I
Suck it,
hated myself.
haters.
And then I
Suck
hated
it,
myself so
haters.
much.
Yeah, honestly, mad props to Joe Greer. That guy woke up 45 minutes early, hand ground beans for us, and made us coffee 5 days in a row.
That's
so
amazing.
that was
Oh,
that was honestly like
So
that's
good.
some
Does he do that
sacrifice.
every day, do you think? Is that like his goat?
He definitely has like a morning ritual of coffee. He'll bring stuff on trips. He takes
Yeah.
it very seriously. But that morning, we're sitting in this cold ass car, and
pretty
we're
good.
we're waiting, and he comes and blesses us with some single O, and it was
Oh,
just
nice.
so good. Yeah.
You were waiting for the sun to come up or like good light to shoot?
We were waiting we were waiting for them to get in the car, and then we were gonna go to shoot like
Would
the
you-
Grand Teton or
Sunrise.
something. Yeah, shoot
Would you
sunrise
say
somewhere.
that is okay? You clearly got some creative inspiration from that cup of coffee. Then it sounds like
Ooh,
we'll tie that into. We
segue.
should
Okay.
start
But
our
we
episode.
didn't see
but
your
honestly,
drinks, my boys.
okay, y'all already know Liquid Death, baby. Give me that sponsorship. Let's go.
Just immediately goes into his pitch.
Yeah.
Niles,
Amazon
did
affiliate link below.
you tell us what you
for
have,
real.
Niles?
Yeah, I literally have a single origin Ethiopian.
A single O Ethio.
A single O Ethio with my boy Rufio.
Oh.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
Always got to add the third bar.
Yeah.
I'm always good for 3 bars, except on the pod.
Are
then I get
you?
nervous. Only
He
on
usually
the
is.
podcast I get too nervous because I know that like more people than just you are listening, so then
Right.
I get a little clammy,
Right.
All right, let's
which
focus
is
in here.
understandable. But yeah,
focus
how
up.
do you guys find creative inspiration, and like what is that to you?
Okay, I was thinking about this morning.
I don't know why
I
I'm
feel
laughing.
like when I go try to get inspired, I don't.
Ooh, yeah.
I feel
Ooh.
like it happens.
It's kind of like when you want to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and you're
Yes.
trying really hard, and you don't
Yes.
find
Yes.
one, and then when you're like,
Yes.
I'm over it,
I'm
I'm
over
done,
it,
I'm
yeah.
single.
Yep.
You know that
You
person
let go of the
walks into your-
expectation.
yeah, that person
Yeah.
just walks into your life. Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely feel like that is a huge part of it. Like when you want it, you can't get it.
Right.
So you kind of have to let go of wanting it, which is a really fun game to play.
Sure.
But if you wanted it and you were trying to get it, do you have an approach?
I actually do.
Oh.
I talked about this on Instagram stories the other day, but basically what I'll do is I'll listen to a song that I like, obviously, and I'll read the lyrics while I listen to it, and I'll basically make a mood board from there. Like if any visuals are talked about in the lyrics, write those down. If any colors are mentioned or if any colors come to mind, write those down so you can build a color palette and
Ooh.
visual scenes. And so I've set up multiple shoots like that, just from a single song.
So music is like the impetus to you getting through a creative block.
Oh yeah.
Are you doing that on like an iPad, usually?
I usually
Or like to
do it
pull
on
color palettes?
I
Computer?
usually do it on my computer.
Okay.
Nice.
I just like working on my computer more than I like working on my phone.
I really want an iPad. I don't know
Very
why.
nice.
I feel like a stylus and that iPad
Yeah.
just I can go. Just I feel like that's the unlock for me, which is just
Yeah.
such an Apple hook. Like
Yeah.
they've
I
gotten
got
me
you.
to believe that like I will be more effective,
Yeah.
productive, creative if I have their
100%.
product. I
What
still
would
haven't
you
bitten the bullet.
What would you
That's-
do with it?
I would do all of my pre-production for films
Mm.
on that iPad because the stylus is such an advantage to typing, and I feel like in Milanote, I do a lot of my planning, and a stylus there just is
Yes.
a leg up for that design. And I feel like a
Yes.
mood board. I'm not a designer, but if it's just like text and stills, like you need a little more. I don't know. You kind of like that's where
Yeah.
the creative process starts. So if that's really
Mm-hmm.
ugly, it can be hard to transition to making something pretty
Mm-hmm.
or or whatever. So I think that making that I would just sauce up my pre-pro a little bit. And
Yeah.
I think is what would happen.
Niles, you and
Nice.
I did a course with this guy named Drew Photo, and he did his entire editing section on an iPad for like 50
Yes.
minutes with a stylus. Was he in
Yes.
like Procreate or something? Or no, he wasn't in Procreate. He was in some other
He
app,
was
Affinity
in
Photo or
Capture-
something.
Capture
Capture
One.
One.
Capture
Something
One.
like
He was
that.
in
Yeah, no,
Capture
it was just
One.
like it was like the best marketing for an iPad. Afterwards, we were both like,
Right.
"Shit, dude, do we need iPads?"
Totally. Well, he was doing high frequency separation. He was doing like
Mm-hmm.
extreme
Yeah.
retouching, which I don't know if retouching is extreme, but to me it was extreme retouching.
Yeah.
And just doing all of his editing
Wow.
on an iPad. So the iPad was powerful enough to basically process all that stuff,
All
which
that.
to
Oh,
me is
dude.
like takes a lot of RAM. I would assume.
iPads can lift these days.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
chips in them are trippy.
I don't know if I
iPad's
could
like a-
edit on one though. Editing, I've seen people edit, but it seems a little hard. Like,
Well,
this
you
is
would need the
completely off
keyboard
topic.
edition, right? You need like the keyboard add-on.
Yeah.
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 Well, and now
true.
you can like actually use a mouse, and there is a
That's true.
cursor. But I'm not like a heavy iPad user, but
Okay,
I
but-
watch Netflix on one.
Yeah, so, but you have one.
Yeah.
Guys, guess what I just did last night though?
What?
We tweeted from Sunny, and at one time we got a lot of responses. I said,
Oh, I did
sorry,
see
I'm going
this.
off. I'm on a tangent already. But I said, is YouTube Premium worth it? And most like YouTubers on Twitter were like, for sure. It's kind of expensive, but I signed up last night, so
So is that how you're
How much
getting
is it?
creatively inspired?
Yeah. What?
honestly,
Watching a
yes.
bunch of YouTube
It's like-
Premium?
For
Isn't it like $10 a month or something?
16,
It's
bro.
16.
It's a
Do
lot.
I pay that? I've had it for like a
But
year.
I
didn't
watch
know.
so much YouTube that it's like all the time. Like to me, it's like I don't watch Netflix, but now I don't have to watch any ads.
$16.
I thought you were frozen, Niles. You were just actually floored.
I was. I'm like. I mean, Caleb's a
$16
pretty
a
frugal
month
guy.
is a lot.
Yeah.
I
know,
use
but-
60 or 16?
16.
Oh, I thought Taylor just said 60, and I
YouTube
was like, I'm about to fall out of
TV,
my
I
chair.
think if you got YouTube TV, which
Yes.
acts as like a cable subscription, that's
Yes.
like 60 a month. But then
That's
you can
what
watch
we
live
split. Sarah's dad just pays for it, and we just kind of piggyback off it. You know what I'm saying?
stuff. Okay, here's the crazy part.
Let's hear it.
YouTube TV does not include YouTube Premium. If it did, I would
Right.
sign up for.
Yeah.
I'd pay 65
Right.
a month for so I could have all
Ooh.
that, but then no. I just don't want the ads. No offense to like brands that
ads.
we make ads at Moment,
No
and
offense
like
to ads.
But like, I'm not trying to like watch a long form video and then an ad pops up in the middle. But I bet a viewer right now is getting an ad on this video, which
Right.
sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but
But it's funny
Hey.
because I feel like
It's all good.
How does that work with AdSense?
so I think because I'm paying into it
Yeah.
now, I'm paying
The money
16 bucks
just
a month.
contributes.
The money contributes to then people that would normally get the ads, the creators on those videos, they divvy it up, is my guess.
I've had it for
So
like
I'm actually
Seems like a
paying
big
creators.
loophole for YouTube to be like, we're just gonna. This money doesn't count.
Right. And the creators, you're getting it, but like you
Right.
don't know the actual
Exactly.
data.
You've no idea. You're just
No.
taking their word for it.
All right, Dewey,
Yeah.
how do you get creatively inspired?
You know, it's funny because like this is kind of weird and it's probably the opposite of what we're trying to talk about. But like I think before like 4 or 5 years ago when I was doing YouTube more often, I felt like because there wasn't as much stuff out there, there wasn't like as much noise happening. I felt like I was more creative in a way. And I feel like the more stuff that's happened on social media, like the less inspired I am to create. I feel like it actually like is the opposite. It makes me feel like I don't want to. So in a weird way, like if I turn off all of that stuff and stop watching videos and just do my
Right.
own thing, I actually get more inspired by than like actually like I don't know. I feel like so many YouTubers are like trying to be inspirational and photographers on Instagram are like look at all these cool things you can do and all these places you can go. But instead it just kind of makes me be like, no shot, no thanks, close. Like I don't know.
Right.
It makes me feel so I kind
Well,
of
yeah,
feel
because like
it's weird.
creativity, it's different because you don't want to fall into the trends, and the trends
Yeah.
are easy to be like, I'm creative and I'm seeing views or whatever because I'm following a trend.
Totally.
But really, creativity is like when I saw Taylor buy a $25 printer and start cutting stuff out. Maybe someone else is doing that, but that was like
Right.
that was
Yeah.
inspiring. I was like, oh, that's like
Thanks.
Well, and it
not
wasn't
a trend.
and it wasn't like
to
she was
me.
like, oh, I saw someone else cut their photos to pieces and put them together. It was just
Right.
like an
Totally.
idea she had, you know. And it was
Like, you
funny
kinda
that
gotta
that's
be
the
in your
worst
own head.
performing video
Yeah.
on Grain Check, but it was the one that was like the most original, perhaps.
Dude, don't rub it in. You don't need a reminder, bro. It's
I know, but it's
cool.
just like
Don't
but-
worry,
but-
I
but it's-
remember.
But it's almost like it not doing well with Al, our
Yes.
buddy Al,
Our
not
buddy
our
Al.
buddy Al.
Is
our-
that almost
our-
like a
our-
compliment?
Our freaking nemesis Al.
Yeah.
Um,
Our
We
stepdad.
can call him our acquaintance, maybe.
Yeah, just
like,
that guy in the corner who's just trying to f us all up. I think the
Wow.
worst it does
Okay,
with
not that
Al, I know, yeah. I said that and I was like, what would that even look like? Trying to f us all up, like what? He's like fighting us, or like
Like,
he's
what?
like death glare. And I'm like, yeah. I said that and I
Death
paused and I
glare.
thought that makes no sense. But that's,
People hate
that's
him.
a lot of
People
it, so.
hate him
but
until
now
they
it's
love
on the
him.
podcast. So
But stay on the
now
sunny
it's
side,
baked
y'all.
in forever.
Yep.
But I do think that
Baked
like the
in.
worst it does with Al, the more creative perhaps it could have been, because it's
Right.
like it's not a trend, it's not the trendy song, it's not like the following something on, because like right now it's like if you follow the trend, it just is
Yeah.
gonna do better.
the formula.
I remember
yeah.
I actually
believe that
tried
statement
this
to an extent. Yeah.
Right. I actually tried
But-
this when I went on my honeymoon to Iceland in 2017. It was like my wife and I had always wanted to go to Iceland, like a lot of people, and it was blowing up. It was like Iceland with Blue Lagoon, all these places. So I actually unfollowed, like 45 minutes before. I actually unfollowed, or not 45 minutes before, 45 like days before. I actually unfollowed all the Iceland photographers because I was like, oh, I'm gonna go there and just shoot the exact same photo that everyone and their grandma has gone to shoot.
Yeah.
And I went there with like not really having seen a bunch of Iceland content, and I actually still love the photos I took because I felt like I made them. And it was way more fulfilling. Even though Iceland's been shot a ton, it's kind of like if you're going to go to the iconic place, sure, shoot the iconic photo because it's iconic for a reason. But I do think like not consuming a ton of content from where you're going. So it's like
Yeah.
if you're going to shoot a bunch of car stuff, yes, pull a bunch of car inspo. But like at some point, like get rid of that in a way where you're able to actually like think for yourself, because that's where you'll actually
Yeah.
make something new and
Totally.
interesting, I think.
Yeah, you just kind of have to like.
That was a long
detach
rant,
from
sorry.
everything. No, you're right though, dude. I feel like the same way. Like for me, like
Yep.
the coolest stuff I've done is like when I've just disconnected and gotten creative and gone out and just shot stuff randomly or just started experimenting, like setting up random lights or using weird filters and being like, whoa, that's kind of sick. And then all of a sudden it's like something special.
Right.
It gets me way
Yeah.
more stoked than just replicating something I already saw a month ago.
Of
Right.
course. Yeah.
Right.
So maybe should we quit social media again? Just kidding.
Well, I don't think we could.
We could use it.
Wait.
But based on
on
last
that note, I'm already back to like my old habits. Like last night, I was just
Oh, yeah.
sitting. I was just sitting.
Takes no
I was
time.
sitting on my phone in bed. I was like, yeah, we're gonna buy an old alarm clock, which they're like weirdly so expensive, and Sarah and I just couldn't agree on one. I want like the '80s POS one that my dad had for so long, and Sarah's
Girl,
just
I
like,
have one on the shelf over here.
yeah, it's like no, but did I have the one? It's really skinny.
Yeah.
The really skinny
Mm-hmm.
one. Yeah, with like brown on top. It's from GE. But they're like $85 now.
Yeah.
You gotta
That's
go to Goodwill.
ridiculous.
Which is
There's
crazy.
so many alarm clocks.
That's
at
true.
Goodwill.
That's probably a good idea. But last night I was just sitting on my phone scrolling. Sarah's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know." And I just turned my
Nothing.
phone off. That
Yeah.
sucked.
Weird.
I didn't feel good about
It's
it.
weird, bro.
I didn't feel good about it.
I feel
yeah.
like I feel like one quick thing on that. I was gonna say I feel like, or what we were talking about before with like creativity and social media. I feel like a lot of creators I talk to, they say they don't actually like consume social
a
media
lot.
on YouTube and
Right.
stuff. I've heard people say before like, "Oh, I upload my YouTube videos but I don't watch anybody else's. I literally just do my thing and then turn it off." So,
Right.
I don't know. Interesting.
But then there's
I do
other
that.
people who are like turning YouTube into like a science, and all they do
Right.
is watch YouTube
Yeah.
and like fine
And they,
tune
like, analyze,
everything
yeah.
and analyze to where then all their videos
Make a
pop
bunch of
because
money.
of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're kind of smart though, because then they're just like breaking down bigger ones, and then people want to like search how those bigger channels get there, and then their
I guess
videos
they
come
are
up.
like breakdown channels, like Colin and Smee
Yeah.
or Patty
Yeah.
Galloway, like those kinds of
And
people.
those are hard, dude. I want to
Oh,
give those
yeah.
all those that type of. It's like, why are you still in school, bro? Why are you doing a book report on this channel? Like, that's so boring.
Right.
But like,
Wait, what?
they're hard.
Confused. I just got
Yeah,
confused.
I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
me
so
too.
confused. They're so hard,
Okay.
but why are you doing a book report? It's like,
Yeah, no,
I don't
so-
get it.
No, I'm saying those videos to make are extremely hard.
Oh,
so I'm
right.
giving props to those people, and I'm like, they're not having like the fun side of YouTube. They're like still in they're still
Oh,
in school,
yeah.
like
Oh.
like
I see what
doing
you're
like
saying.
Really? I think
analysis,
it's
bro.
so fun. I mean, I loved school, so maybe people who do those things.
No, like the
school.
task of like looking at their data, pulling charts, like screen grabs. I
oh.
hate when I make a video. I hate pulling screen grabs. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, it definitely is tedious, and I think we never operate with enough time to even do that. But I do.
Right. Yeah,
those are the
exactly.
channels I like to watch the most. It's like the
Yeah.
ones that are like
Yeah.
educational to me.
No,
But,
they're super well
hey,
done.
we're different, dude. We don't all watch old ladies cook food in
Yeah.
the kitchen. You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
For sure.
Wait,
sure.
who's the first taste guy that you watch?
Avery Heaney.
Avery Heaney.
Avery.
Channel's so core. So freaking sick.
Oh,
Yeah, it's how I saw like all these like Mountain Dew first taste. It got me hyped. Honestly, like when I see small channels that are like really core, I get so inspired. I don't know why. Something about the pureness of what
Right.
they're doing is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I want that again for the stuff I make. And so when you see it, it's kind of a hard thing to like know, but when you know, you know.
Right.
That's
I'm
because
the
YouTube
most-
hasn't gotten to their heads yet.
Yeah, no, dude.
YouTube
you're
does
having-
go to
you're still
people's
having
heads
fun.
too. It's
Yeah.
true. It's true. It's like if
Has
Al
it
is
gotten to your
if-
head, Niles?
If Al is hooking you up, it goes to your head for sure. Because you're like, look at these, look at all these views, dude. Al's giving me
Look
an
at these
alley.
1 out of 10s. Yeah.
But then when you get 10 out of 10s, it's like, this is brutal. This is brutal.
I also would say, to finish up my thought, I get creatively inspired a lot on road trips, cars, whatever
Right.
that is. Like,
Yes.
I don't even care where I'm driving to. I mean, maybe like over an hour typically, so I can like, get the stuff out of my daily life,
Right.
and then you're on a road and
Right.
go to
Yeah.
That's how I get. If I need a little inspo, yeah.
Right.
And bring your camera. Just put your camera in your front seat too. Have it out. Don't pack when you go on any road trip or drive that you know is going to be
Middle console,
somewhat cool.
baby.
Yeah, middle console, front seat if no one's with you, but don't leave it in the back in your backpack. Like have it ready, because if you pull over and you see a funny thing or a cool thing, you can just grab it real quick.
A
and capture
funny
it.
thing or
Funny
a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. The open road.
Yes. No,
Great
I
answer.
definitely resonate with that. I think
Yeah.
for me, I'm the most creatively inspired when I'm starting projects, and I'm probably the least creatively inspired when I'm finishing them, if that makes sense. Like, I feel the
Definitely.
juice is flowing in the beginning, and then in the middle, you kind of realize how hard it is to make it actually good. And then that's when
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck, this is
Yeah.
like, it's kind of where, it's like the last 10% takes the majority of the time to like actually
Yeah.
make it good.
Yeah.
I think for me too, I find the most creative inspiration when I'm active. So like on runs, like I run with no music and I just kind of
Yeah.
let my mind wander. And on long runs, like I'll just think of all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think
Do you
that I think a
ever-
lot. Sorry, go.
Do you ever write them down or remember them? Because that's always
Yeah.
my problem.
I try to do voice memos, so I'll try to
Okay.
like
That's
tell
smart.
myself the idea, because you can actually ask Siri to like make a voice memo and then record you, or just like I'll set a reminder, like, hey Siri, set a reminder, and then I just talk.
Say the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, she's listening right now. Siri, shut up, Siri. Oh, I just like to edit, is what it just said.
What?
I just set a reminder called I just like to edit. Oh no, I just talk to edit. That's
I just talk to edit.
That's funny. But yeah, so
Wow. You
kinda-
would have no idea what that meant after a run.
I know, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I think obviously you kind of have to revise it after, because like words are spelled wrong, and you know,
Right.
it only hears half of you, but usually you can get the point across.
Do you guys think you'd have like a creativity tank where it's like you have like a limit, so it's like full, and then if you use it up for, I don't know, like when does that refill? Every day, or is it like a month? Because sometimes I feel tapped,
Right.
and I'm like, I have no new ideas because we've been going hard on projects or on something, and then I'm just like, I need to do nothing,
Right.
so that tank
I
gets
think
refilled.
I think sometimes though, like fulfilling a creative idea helps fill it for the next one. Like I don't
Yep.
think you have like a limited amount of creativity you can give, where it's like you need to be like really choosy, if that makes sense, and like where you fully give it. I
Yeah.
think it's like actually you get more creative as you keep giving a lot of creativity to projects. But I think it is hard because it does take, I think my tank that gets low is just like my energy like
Yeah.
to give it, right? It's like there's all these creative
Really?
things that are awesome, but I would need to get like a bigger crew. We'd have to find that set.
Right.
Oh,
The
it would need-
logistics.
it would yes, it's like the logistics of actually fulfilling the idea that
Yeah.
get difficult.
So producer roles, you're just like, dude, nah.
Well,
not
it just gets
creative.
hard. It just gets hard, I think, with like, because a lot of what those ideas come outside of work, right? They come outside of
Yeah.
like a traditional workspace. Sometimes they come within it, and those are the ones that we usually go do.
Totally.
But the ones that are outside is difficult because it's like, okay, like I've wanted to make this short film about my abuela for forever, because like she immigrated to the United States. You know, she left all of her like 100 relatives in South America. Like she left them all to create this like life of like the American dream. And then now it's like my grandpa passed away. She has Alzheimer's and she's just living, you know, she's kind of alone. And it's like, do you regret coming? Like that's kind of like, I think the question for a lot of immigrant kids is like, you came to the United States, first generation American, do you regret coming, or are you glad you did? And like, so I've always wanted to pose that question in a short film. And I have tons of access to her because she lives 2 hours away and she's my freaking abuela. Like I
Right.
can go there whenever I want. But it's
Yeah.
just the scope of like, okay, I need like a 3-day shoot.
Right.
And I've wanted to do this for like a year and a half, and I just haven't really found. I've shot a bunch of like little clips and stuff of my grandma. Like I shoot her a lot, or I film her a lot. Like the Sony ZVE10 video. I've shot a couple rolls of 16 of her, but never like
Yeah.
an actual fleshed out film,
Right.
which just
Yeah.
takes more work.
Totally. Well, and sitting
Do
down
we-
and making sure you're getting audio and like all that. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah,
shooting the
it's a
interview and
lot.
like crafting
Right.
that narrative. And,
Right.
But I am up against the clock because she has Alzheimer's. So it's like
Totally.
eventually she's gonna like forget just more and more things. So it is one of those
Totally.
things that I need to do soon.
But that's the funny catch about creative projects. When you feel like you have to do it or you need to do it,
Right.
then it starts to
Yeah.
feel like it
Work.
starts to feel different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little slightly dreadful.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's your tank at right now, Dewey?
Where's my tank? I feel
How's
like my
your tank?
tank's
Fumes.
No, it's actually gotten better over the last 6 months. No, I don't know why it's gotten better over the last few months. I feel like, because like I said earlier, for the people that don't know, I used to do like YouTube stuff back in the day, like probably like 5 years ago now. But yeah, I used to feel like more excited about making videos, and then all of a sudden I just like lost interest entirely.
Right.
And I feel like
Yeah.
over the last 6 months, I'm slowly starting to figure out what's like. I don't know. I'm not making like the idea of coming back to it is like just making stuff that I'm stoked on, that I'm proud of, and rather than like catering to the audience, because that was like the tough
Right.
thing for me is like the stuff that I liked doing wasn't really popular, but then the stuff that wasn't cool was, and it was always this weird struggle with YouTube of like, do I make for the views or do I just like make something that I'm really proud
Right.
of?
I don't think anything I naturally like gets views.
Right.
like the videos, like the things that I like to make
Yeah.
that I would be like proud of. I think
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
like, yeah, like that's not really, you know, it's like I don't think a
Cool.
lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't think a majority of people would care to watch. I think is actually funny. I do think though, I feel somewhat similarly, Mike, where it's like I feel like with work, I've always had 1 or 2 outside projects to keep the tank full. Because work, I feel like, can be kind of draining because you're more told what to make. Hey, go be creative for this project, and that's just the nature of any creative job. That's just how it. That's the catch-22 of.
And we have a lot of creativity at Moment in Sunny 16 too.
We have
so much.
We have almost complete creative freedom.
Yeah.
Like probably the most creative freedom we could ever have.
But
with a
even
full-time
within
job.
that, it still feels a little bit like if you work at a company right now and you're, I feel it. I feel we feel sympathy for you.
Right.
Like, it
Yeah.
is
But
a
I've
little
always
bit.
had an outside project working in the background that keeps me inspired to then go work on more work stuff. And it's kind of just because like I get to own it. No one tells me how to do it. And I get to just go kind of live my creative life in that way. And then I think I'm more ready to give creatively to my work. Also with exercise, it's like I think I have more to give after that as well. Like if I go run in the morning, it's like I feel so much better. Or I go for a surf, it's like I have like I think I need to fill my life tank or like
Your
Yes.
endorphins.
it's like there's something about like you have a
going
couple
off.
you have a couple of tanks you need to fill.
Yeah.
Creative's
Yeah.
just one, you know.
Yep.
Oh, like cows have 4 stomachs, like we have 4 tanks, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We have 4 figurative stoke tanks that we have to fill.
Whoa. What would be the pillars of those tanks?
I
So you
knew-
have like
I knew that was
the
next
work tank,
Creativity.
creativity tank, life tank,
life
which
tank.
means is that like
vibe-
exercise and stuff?
Vibe tank.
Yeah, what is that? Like just personal
What?
happiness?
Personal.
I think it's doing things that are quote unquote like you're allowed to be selfish. That's kind of how
Oh, my camera just stopped.
like-
Sorry, I hit re-record.
like
Check.
30 minutes.
like
I'm good.
my wife and I, it's like we allow ourselves to be selfish because it's like you need to do something for yourself. So I think that's kind of the life tank is like I get to go surf for an hour, she gets to go run, like
Whatever
she gets to go
you want.
whatever you want to do to like for that
Yeah.
hour and a half. Because with kids, this is with kids especially, it's like
Yeah.
that you're just constantly giving, so you kind of have to refill yourself. So I think that's life.
about-
I think
okay,
I think
creativity-
there's a family or a friend or a social element,
Social.
like a social tank,
Social
where it's like
tank.
your
Ooh,
friends, your family,
cool.
Yeah.
you're spending time with your partner, whatever that looks like.
Definitely.
What about just like money tank, dude? Just like when you have some money, like when you're not stressing about money, like
The money
Maybe
tank.
maybe that's just life tank.
I think that's life tank. I
Shark
feel
Tank.
like you need
Oh,
one
the fourth
for,
is for sure Shark Tank. Okay, we're good. For sure.
I feel like one of those
you're
would
right.
be
Oh,
like
shark.
exercise and food and just like like health.
Yeah, health.
I feel like would be outside of life. Like that needs its own pillar.
So this is the four pillars of being creatively inspired.
Yeah, you're
Creativity.
Create your creative tank, your life
Yeah.
tank, your health tank, and your vibe tank. No,
No,
your social
family
Your
or
social
social.
tank. Your social
Yeah.
And
tank.
your
Social
health
tank.
tank.
Your vibe tank.
Well, there can only be 4. There can only be 4 tanks because cows have 4 stomachs. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. Get it?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
vibe tank.
No, that's such a good point, Niles. Of like, you have to take care of yourself to have any sort of brain power to come up with anything creative.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if you're running on fumes, you're not going to be thinking of your best ideas.
Right.
How do you guys? I know this is kind of like a cliche where like good ideas come in the shower. I
Yes.
live
Wow.
that truth. I live that
Yo,
truth.
me too.
Is that
me
a
too.
common thing?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Do
Yeah.
you guys
Shower
all
thoughts.
agree?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But I thought I was unique. In
No,
this,
you're not.
But I guess not. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
No, you're not. I
That's
think
classic.
that's so fascinating. I really want to know why that's such a thing.
Oh well, I have a theory.
It's
Okay.
like the only time you're alone.
Not
and quiet.
not to get too
Oh.
not to get too earthy.
Oh.
But
Okay.
I feel creative when it rains.
Yes. Okay.
Like rain to me has
Okay,
always
I
been this
definitely
very
don't.
symbolic thing of like it's cleansing, it's a
Yep.
rebirth, it's like a start over, it like washes away dirt. And I've always thought there was like this spiritual element to rain,
Love
not to
it.
get too
Niles
Love it.
also
I-
lives in a place that barely ever rains.
it.
'Cause I feel the
Yeah.
exact opposite.
I was gonna
Honestly,
say, how's
yeah.
that
no,
going in San
in
Clemente?
Kansas City, I felt this. So, and that's basically because of thunderstorms.
Right.
I think the death drizzle of the Northwest can kick rocks, but thunderstorms is more what I'm vibing right now. But I think the shower is somewhat
The
similar, where it's
the
like
liquid death drizzle.
I love just sitting in the rain, like it's getting wet. I've seen a bunch of concerts in the rain that have been like just damn near euphoric because
Yeah.
it's pouring rain and like
Yeah.
Kings of Leon's like rah, it's like so sick. And then the shower somewhat replicates that for me.
Love that.
It's funny because
Wow.
like I feel like in a way you saying rain, you made it really positive, but I was like, that's so Niles. It's like doom and gloom. It's like dark.
It
There's
is.
like
It is. It's
country
so
music,
moody.
Niles
dog
is the
on the
most
end of a
moody little boy. Yeah.
truck just
Yeah.
sitting on the
Cigarette for
tailgate.
sure.
Sad music makes me
Yeah.
happy. Like anything I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
film, it's like, yeah, it's very like, it's like the bridge in the movie where it's like,
Yeah.
are they gonna make it? It's kind of like,
Yeah.
it's like the climax of the drama.
Yeah.
Like that's what I live in when I listen to music, and that's
The
the
minor,
movie.
the minor key, baby.
That's the
Yeah.
movie that I'm thinking about because I'm always thinking about like just really visually in my head as I'm driving,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the road, and I'm always thinking of that like
Whoa.
that tinge of sadness with a tinge of hope. That is
Yeah.
kind of what it
Yeah.
is because like sad music can make me happy. That's kind
Yeah.
of what was always.
That's true.
I do like that point about the shower. That makes a lot of sense.
I feel like though, in
And
a
you
way,
can sing in the shower and it sound better because it has some nice,
Right. The
some nice,
acoustics.
some nice acoustics. Some good.
do you think
reverb.
also it's because like when you're in the shower, you're forced away from like any type of like electronics or any type of distractions? You're almost like you're isolating. You're like in a little
is just
isolation
you and your
chamber.
thoughts.
Like I
Right.
felt like that last week. I went camping
you in
for
your
a night.
chamber?
Yeah, just yeah, edit chambers.
Yeah, wait to
Sounds
make
like so
it dark.
sci-fi.
Wait,
Sounds like
speaking
so
of
sci-fi.
chambers, have you guys ever done those like what are they sensory deprivation tanks where you just float in there in the dark?
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never
No
done
way.
that. I'm just wondering if I would freak out or if I would get creative or what's going
Yeah,
on in there.
that sounds scary. That sounds.
I've done
terrible.
it once and it
Really?
was
What
really
happened
cool.
in there?
For how long?
absolutely nothing happened.
What happened in there?
I mean, no, I'm like, were you freaking out? Did you have an anxiety? Were you
I
like,
definitely did feel like, okay, this is a little bit strange to like close yourself into a pod.
yeah,
I'd feel claustrophobic.
Yeah,
yeah, in the dark?
But they're spacious, so it's like
yeah.
you can
And you're
move
floating, aren't you?
around.
It's like a smart car, right? Like that, about that size.
Honestly, maybe even bigger. I feel like smart cars
Oh.
are
Smart cars
Okay.
are tiny.
tiny. Like you don't
Okay.
even have room to move
Isn't
in a
it
smart
crazy?
car.
There's some people out there still paying a car payment on a smart car. Freaking sucks. Sorry. I just
Sorry if you have a smart car.
Oh man,
sorry.
That
Oh,
is
it sucks.
funny though.
They're
That's
personal.
stoked because I'm sure they get like 60 miles to the gallon. They're probably not
Yeah.
spending any money on gas
Yeah,
right now.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but they're driving by themselves because no one else can fit in the car.
That's true.
Smart cars. Oh, man, that's
yeah,
so
I mean,
funny.
I guess that's true. Like the shower, running, like those
Mm.
are times where you're not on your phone or your computer or talking to anybody. You're really,
Right.
truly just free to think and
Yeah.
like driving on the road because you're not checking your devices and stuff. So
Or you should.
yeah, maybe that is the key. Maybe that's the key.
Dude, I feel like your camera's kind of back focusing.
Yeah, no, dude, 100%. If I've looked over,
100%.
If I've looked over at my camera a few times, it's because I'm trying to get the focus to come back.
It wants that fiddle leaf in the background to
Yeah.
be the
It's that little
subject.
the fid or the broken AE1.
Oh,
Is
boy,
that
don't
is
get
that a
going.
real is that a real fiddle or is it a fake fiddle?
Absolutely not, dude. I ain't got time to water plants.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks
No
good.
shot,
He
dude.
doesn't have a plant
interest.
tank, you know?
No, dude.
well, that's
I've
great.
tried to have a plant
Well-
tank. It lasted 2 months. I got aggro and I got really unhappy. It was reverse creativity. And I was like, absolutely not. And ever since I've
Do you
had this one,
also-
I've gotten multiple comments of people saying, damn, that thing looks vibrant.
And
So
you're
I'm
like,
not going
yes, because it's painted green.
back. Yeah. Actually,
Fresh
I'll
coat of paint.
That
It's like a
thing
print.
looks
There's
vibrant.
not even, there's not even, check out that little stump.
If
you're
you're
listening to the-
yes,
yeah.
if you're listening, it's not even in a pot. It's just like there's
just-
Oh, yeah,
a
sorry
weight
for the
at the
listeners.
bottom. Yeah.
It's just the little like 2-pound,
A little nub.
the little
Have you,
nubber.
have you
It is
guys ever another time similar to the shower phenomenon of creative thoughts? Have you ever had like, I mean, we three of us have kids now, so they're fewer and far between. But like at the moment when you're laying in bed right before you wake up, there's this like weirdly lucid, creative. Like you maybe think of a weird thought and you're like, was
Wait,
that
right
super
before you
good
wake up
idea?
or right before you go to bed?
Right before you wake up.
Yeah.
Now, I know.
I
know
don't
people are
think-
like, keep,
Interesting.
I don't
people
think
have
that's
said
a creative
keep a
time.
journal.
Yeah, I don't
People
think
have said
that's a
keep a
creative
journal,
time for
but-
me, but I do miss that time. That
Yeah.
time is so rare now.
That's what I'm saying. Now it's like-
Lou, my daughter, ends up in our bed every single night, and in the morning she goes, "I won't go downstairs. I won't go downstairs," and just wakes me up.
Right.
And we go downstairs.
Yeah.
Kids can be probably pretty creatively inspiring though. Just watching them, watching what they do, you're like, man,
Right.
that's,
Well,
yeah,
and
'cause
if you try to see the world through your kids' eyes, you're just seeing it through a brand new experience, which I
Right.
think is actually a cool
Right.
way to look at some creative things. Is like, how would you see this if you weren't you? You know, it's like putting yourself in someone else's kind of eyes for a second. I think that's always been helpful, especially with storytelling aspects of like trying to like get into characters. I think your kids can be like a really good practice of that. You know.
Oh, so
Because
good.
the
Yeah,
things that they don't know, it's like
Kids are
it's
awesome.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
that's like Lou will not know some things where it's like she'll ask me like what a word is, and it's like a tea kettle. You know, I'm just like it's
Yeah,
a tea
yeah.
kettle. You know,
Yeah.
it's like what do you mean? What is it? It's a tea
It's so
kettle. I don't
innocent
know.
and fun.
Yes, it really.
and she'll
is.
just look at the shape of it and assume it does something, and
or like
yeah.
call it something completely wrong, and I just I think it's so
Yeah.
cute. Yeah,
Aw.
of course I do though. Of course I do.
course
All right,
you do.
y'all. Well, hopefully that was helpful with finding your creative vibe, your creative inspo.
I didn't
Fill
know we
your
were
tanks.
finishing right now. Sorry. Okay, cool.
Fill your tanks.
Well, what do you have to say?
That's true.
Fill up
Not
your
much
Shark
else,
Tank.
so. I just like talking with you guys.
I know it is fun.
You're gonna miss
But
us.
I do think ruts,
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you
creative blocks are all inevitable. I
Yeah.
really think.
Yeah.
I think like you
Yep.
can be at the highest level of your creative field, or
Yeah.
the absolute beginning of it, and still have that same issue, and it never goes away.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So work on all 4 tanks and make sure to leave a comment. Leave a comment on this video on how you get creatively inspired. It
Yes.
would be fun to read some of those. So
Oh,
if
that-
you're
that would-
watching
that would
till
be
now.
good. That'd be
yeah,
good.
I'd love
Okay,
to
cool.
read some of these.
That'd
but
be sick.
Dewey,
All right,
thanks for
y'all.
joining.
Dewey,
Yeah,
for sure.
you were a
Thanks for having me,
pleasure as
guys.
always.
Yeah.
And stay on the sunny side, y'all. Keep on the sunny side.
Keep on the
Bye.
sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side.